Hi, everybody. It's 5:07. I tried to come on at 5 o'clock and I got a very weird screen that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to fix it, so I just started all over. I'm not very technically oriented, but today I want to talk to you about the 3 kinds of happiness. And we all want to be happy. We all like being happy. We prefer it over other emotions like anger, fear, sadness. And we spend a lot of our time chasing happiness. But I want to give you a different way to think about happiness by describing these 3 ways. And I would like to show you one way, one kind of happiness that you can develop like a muscle. So today, I don't have my screen share. I had this really great, chart that I was going to show you to illustrate the 3 kinds of happiness, but for whatever reason, Facebook is not letting me share my screen, which I practiced it before, but so anyway, I'll just tell you about it the best that I can. So the first kind of happiness is random happiness. And random happiness is feeling happy for no reason. And this is pretty common when you are young, although I felt happy for no reason yesterday. So when you have random happiness, you feel happy and there's no cause that you can identify. You still have the same challenges that you had. You still have the same things you appreciate that you had. Just for no reason, you just feel happy. And it's really lovely and wonderful. And I completely enjoy it. The thing is, you can't really count on it, which is, it's kind of a nice surprise, but it's not something you can really draw on. And then the second kind of happiness is what I call circumstantial happiness. And this is the kind of happiness that comes about when certain circumstances come together. And it could be something very simple, like you're craving pizza, and you call up your pizza shop and you order a pizza and the pizza is delivered and you reach in your pocket and you have the money and you give it to the pizza delivery person and you enjoy your pizza. All of those circumstances work together to bring you a desired result. And that can be in bigger ways too, like you land the job that is just right for you. It's, you know, uses all of the favorite skills that you love to use. It's the right amount of hours and it just pays amazing. And then another example of that is meeting someone that you really get along with, and that you both have a commitment and then you have a long-term relationship. So those are circumstances. And also I would throw winning the lottery in here, even though that is a random event, but having a windfall of money like that can help you create a lot, like can really impact a lot of circumstances that can make you happy. So with those 2 kinds of happiness, random happiness and circumstantial happiness, you are happy. You cannot really count on random happiness. The thing with circumstantial happiness is that it can make you manipulative or controlling or both as you try to make these circumstances come together in a certain way to get a desired outcome. And so the chart that I had for you for random and circumstantial happiness was on your x-axis, you would have youth, and on your y-axis, you have experience. And as you move across, the older you become, the more experiences you have, the less random, the less circumstantial happiness really makes you happy. And even at its best, it's temporary. Like even if we get a beautiful new car, we could be happy like for a month or two, maybe longer, but it goes away. So it has diminishing returns. So as you get older, like as you're young, you're cycling through, like in the beginning, it's a lot of random, and then you learn how to get what you want, and there's circumstantial and random, and it kind of peters out. And the place where it peters out is where we have a midlife crisis or an identity crisis. And we are at a loss for how to make ourselves truly happy, how to have like a long-lasting happiness or a happiness that builds. And that's where we're going to talk about the third kind of happiness, and that's internally generated happiness. And if I have my chart up for internally generated happiness, on your x-axis would be what really makes you happy, and on your y-axis would be skills, and you would be right here at the apex. Now, there is another little mark on your x-axis, and this is what you think is possible. So up here you have what will really make you happy, and right here you have what you think is possible. And what I would like to encourage you to do is to identify what would make you happy. And that is not as easy as it sounds. We have a lot of common ideas about what would make us happy, like the perfect mate, you know, a great house, a certain amount of money, certain kind of job, this and that and the other thing. But happiness is very individual, and it could be something as small as, like, for me, like whenever I have a bowl of blackberries, it makes me really happy. And then it could be like something bigger, like living in a mortgage-free house, a house that you paid for, or, you know, it could be music or learning or creating something or building something, or it could just be sitting in nature. It's so individual. And because it's not always easy to know what that is, I created a happiness inventory worksheet that I'm happy to pass along to you. And there's a lot of neat questions on it that will prompt you to figure out what really makes you happy in little and large ways. And you can PM me or email me at fluidintegration@gmail.com and put happiness in the subject line, and I'm happy to send it to you. So anyway, back to internally generated happiness. So we have what really makes us happy, and then we have skills, and then we have us, and of course we want to move up and to the right. And when you look at any XY chart, like for stocks, for example, the line the desired trajectory of that line is up and to the right, but often there are these zigzags. And on my particular chart, when you get to a zigzag, this is where you get triggered. This is where you face a roadblock, or you have an obstacle or a setback. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. This can be office politics, or relationship drama, or procrastination, a lack of motivation and energy when you are taking steps to create your own happily ever after. So what makes internally generated happiness so good is that on that y-axis where your skills are, in our culture, the major skills that we teach are academic and technical skills, like the skills of doing and creating things. But what we teach at the Emotional Intelligence School is how to tap into the wisdom of your emotions, how to have good orderly direction, and how to, sorry, I have to look at my notes, and great communication skills. And those are the skills that when you reach those little triggering moments, those setbacks, and you become proficient at developing your emotional intelligence, and you have the skills for that, you move through those things. It's more like a loop. You just like move through, move through, move through. Now, if you don't have those skills, if you just have the academic skills, when you hit a roadblock, what tends to happen is you go right back to here, which is what you think you can have. And it's not inspiring, and it's not what will really make you happy. And what happens is a lot of people cycle. Like they'll hit the roadblock, think, I can't really have this. I'm just gonna settle for this. But then they realize they're not happy, and they get disgusted, with not being happy. So then they go back up here. So they end up like just hanging around in this apex and thinking that this is how life is. Especially women, because we're not really raised to, our upbringing doesn't have a lot of messages where we shape our reality, and we shape our lives, and we co-create the culture we want to live in. So, we end up, spinning around down here instead of just going up and to the right, which is what we want to do. Now, the great thing about having good emotional intelligence and getting triggered is you become a trigger slayer. Like, you just move through triggering situations without drama, without like escalating it, without making it worse. And as you do that, drama decreases in your life. Also, as you move through those triggers and heal like past disappointments and traumas and hurts, it frees up a lot of energy, a lot of creativity, and it helps you move more and more up and to the right. So that is what we teach at the Emotional Intelligence School, how to tap into your emotions and create and live your own happily ever after. So let's do a little review. We have random happiness, happiness for no reason. We have circumstantial happiness, the happiness that results from certain circumstances coming together. And then we have internally generated happiness, which is a combination between having clarity about what really makes you happy in life. The more specific, the better. The more individual, the better. And having the skills to work through any obstacles that come up as you are building the life that you know deep down you should be living. I believe we all have this feeling, especially women, deep down, where we know we're not living the life we should be living. Like, we know it's there. We may not know how to materialize it, but we have a deep sense of it. And so I think it's important to know about these 3 types of happiness. You know, in internally generated happiness, you will still feel random happiness, which is like, you know, like a wild card. And you will still feel the happiness of circumstances coming together. But what's really good about it is if you've been wanting for a long time to have a different life, and you identify what makes you happy and you start to move toward that, you take the steps, like you reverse engineer where you want to be to where you are now, and you take those simple steps. When circumstances come together, it can kind of feel like, oh my God, this is it. This is my moment. I'm doing it. And you can think to yourself, I'm just gonna, like, all of a sudden my life will just be a straight, easy line up and to the right. But that is not true. So I'm sorry to report. And in fact, that can in and of itself cause like a bit of a setback. But what's great about internally generated happiness and having the emotional intelligence is that the more you use it, the more confident you become, the more optimistic you become, the more grateful and appreciative you become, and you have a nice feeling of confidence and safety as you move from where you are to where you want to be. And that's the metaphor. I mean, you're not really like moving anywhere unless you want to move somewhere that you think will make you happy. So that's what I have to share this week, the 3 types of happiness. And I would love to help you develop internally generated happiness. At the Emotional Intelligence School, I teach a course called Reclaim Your Emotional Intelligence. And in that course, you learn simple skills and techniques that are very fun and interesting to learn that will help you safely tap into the wisdom of your emotions. And through using these tools and techniques, they become second nature, they become integrated, and you will be moving through obstacles in real time. I don't know about you, but like years ago when I would face an obstacle, I would do a lot of journal writing about it. I even had a therapist at one point, and I didn't like that I was cleaning up messes after the fact. Like, I wanted to either prevent them or redirect them, and I just didn't have the skills to do that. But what's great about reclaiming your emotional intelligence is once you learn these skills and you start practicing them, you begin to do them more and more in real time, and they become more and more second nature. And then you become a person who shapes your life, who shapes your reality, who shapes your culture. And that feels amazing. It's so much better to be creating than being at the affect of events. So, with random happiness and circumstantial happiness. You're at the affect of circumstances or the whim of the gods. With internally generated happiness, you build it like a muscle. It becomes a part of who you are, and over time, it increases the quality of your life. So I want to extend the offer again. If you'd like to get my happiness inventory questionnaire, PM me or send me an email at fluidintegration@gmail.com and put happiness in the subject line. And I will be more than happy to send that to you. And if you would like to learn more about my course that I'm offering in June, you can PM me or email me, and I'll put you on the wait list and send you the information. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you just popped on, please feel free to re-listen to the whole episode where I talk about the 3 kinds of happiness, and in particular about the happiness that you can build as a skill in your life. And it increases the quality of your life like you wouldn't believe. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next Thursday at 5 o'clock. And if I'm a little late, it's not because of me, it's because of Facebook technical issues. So anyway, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.